Hello, and welcome to 10 for 10, 10th News, your weekly dose of 10th Amendment news in 10 minutes or so from the 10th Amendment Center. Today is April 1st, 2013. My name is Michael Bolden. Thank you for tuning in. Today we'll cover the local nullification movement picking up steam in support of due process and the right to keep and bear arms. Plus, we'll get you up to speed on all the most important hearings and votes on state-level nullification legislation. But first, this week's episode is made possible in part by the 10th Amendment Center membership program. Proudly wear your 10ther label with pride and become a card-carrying member of us here at the TAC. Your membership support helps us every single month continue the pressure, cover our base expenses, and reach new people through advertising and direct outreach. Get all the details and join us online today at members.10thamendmentcenter.com. Again, that's members.10thamendmentcenter.com. And now the news. Recognizing that all political efforts need support from the ground up, a number of local communities are beginning to take the lead nationally in the nullification movement. In League City, Texas, City Council member Heidi Thiess is taking her oath to the Constitution seriously. In February, the council passed a Second Amendment preservation resolution that she introduced by a vote of 7-1. And last week, she followed up by presenting a liberty preservation resolution. In response to NDAA indefinite detention powers, she presented that to the council as well. It also passed by a vote of 7-1. The liberty preservation resolution reads in part, quote, "We instruct all our public agencies to decline requests by federal agencies acting under detention powers granted by the NDAA that could infringe upon residents' freedom of speech, religion, assembly, privacy, or rights to counsel." End quote. As Judge Andrew Napolitano has said recently, widespread noncompliance like this can make a federal law nearly impossible to enforce. Thiess isn't working to pass such resolutions as some kind of political theater. She's recognizing the need to build support for efforts locally, which increases the chance of doing the same at the state level. In fact, the very next day, she went to Austin, Texas, the state capital, to testify in support of Texas House Bill 149. That's HB 149, a bill introduced by State Rep. Lyle Larson to nullify NDAA indefinite detention throughout the entire state of Texas. Other local communities are taking similar steps. Resolutions in support of the Second Amendment and the right to keep and bear arms have been passing in local communities around the country, most recently in Lee County, Florida, Susquehanna County, Pennsylvania, East Coventry Township, Pennsylvania, and Carter County, Tennessee. In the latter, we heard from a resident there about the power of individuals to make a difference. Kathy, a Carter County, Tennessee resident, wrote the following. Last month, our county commission, that's Carter County, Tennessee, voted down by a vote of 8-7 the Second Amendment resolution model legislation that my husband and I had given to the county mayor. So yesterday morning, my husband went to the monthly commission meeting with a speech he had written about nullification. At first, they said he couldn't speak because the issue had already been defeated. After one of the commissioners said, "I'd like to hear what he has to say," Joe gave his 2-minute presentation, and to make a very long story a bit shorter, he got hearty applause from citizens and commissioners alike. They revoted, and it passed 16-2. He had never addressed a political meeting like this, stayed awake half the night worried about it, and I almost talked him out of going. But one man with the facts on nullification made a difference. Thank you, Kathy, for sharing that powerful story. The only correction that we feel needs to be made to your statement is one man and one woman armed with the facts made a difference. Congratulations to both of you, Kathy and Joe. You've helped lead a great first step towards protecting the right to keep and bear arms in Carter County, Tennessee. We sincerely hope that others learn from your efforts and experience and do the same in their own local community. The 10th Amendment Center is currently in the very early stages of putting together a local activism resource kit This will help you go through all the steps needed to build a successful local campaign in support of nullification. In the meantime, you can get model legislation that can be introduced in your local community right now on various issues. Go to 10thamendmentcenter.com/local. Again, that's 10thamendmentcenter.com/local. And on a state level, in Oregon tomorrow, the State House Judiciary Committee will be holding a hearing on House Bill 3371. This is a very broad bill that would nullify virtually all federal laws on both marijuana and industrial hemp. That same committee will also be holding a hearing on HB 2710, a bill to nullify warrantless drone spying. Again, that's HB 2710. And in Kansas, House Bill 2199, it passed out of the Senate Committee on Federal and State Affairs last week. It previously passed the House by a vote of 94 to 29, and the full Senate will now have a chance to concur. Establishment forces are working to weaken the bill, which in its current state would nullify virtually every federal gun law on the books. But the grassroots have been pushing hard to keep it in its current form. It's likely that no matter what passes in the state of Kansas, Governor Brownback will have on his desk one of the strongest nullification bills in support of the right to keep and bear arms in American history. Get more information on how you can support this bill at 10thamendmentcenter.com/Kansas HB 2199. Again, that's 10thamendmentcenter.com/Kansas HB 2199. And in Oklahoma this week, likely on Wednesday the 3rd, the State Senate Appropriations Committee will be voting on House Bill 1021. That's a bill to nullify Obamacare in its entirety. The legislation not only declares the entire Affordable Care Act to be a violation of the Constitution, it has teeth. It makes it a requirement for the state to block its enforcement. It reads in part, quote, "It shall be the duty of the legislature of this state to adopt and enact any and all measures as may be necessary to prevent the enforcement of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act and the Health Care and Education Reconciliation Act of 2010 within the limits of this state." End quote. The bill was in big trouble in Senator Griffin's Rules Committee, but that's turning around, and it's because of grassroots pressure. According to the group Oklahoma Freedom, grassroots pressure has been helping greatly. A recent alert they sent out said the following: State Senator Griffin has received hundreds of calls, emails, and visits about the Obamacare nullification bill, HB 1021. Even though Senator Griffin had earlier expressed her disapproval of this bill, she has since worked with Senator Dom to ensure the bill complies with Senate rules and has not even bothered to bring it up in the Senate Rules Committee. Instead, Senator Griffin has simply sent it along its way to the next step. That's the Appropriations Committee. End quote. To get more details and to find out what actions you can take right now to support Obamacare nullification in Oklahoma, visit us online at 10thamendmentcenter.com/Oklahoma HB 1021. Again, that's 10thamendmentcenter.com/Oklahoma HB 1021. And that covers our report here today on 10 for 10, 10ther News. Get 10 minutes or so of 10th Amendment news every week from us here at the 10th Amendment Center. Watch 10ther News every week on youtube.com/10th Amendment Center. View archive shows at news.10thamendmentcenter.com. My name is Michael Bolden. Thanks again for tuning in.